Los Nachos Amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, a music podcast where a group of friends gather together to share music with each other, an album at a time. It's like a little book club for music. Fun time had by all. I'm PD Rave, here with you, rocking it with no ham in sight, but we're rocking it. Here with me is my team, my squad, my crew, my quorum. We've got Drew.
Hi. I got new shoes.
Nice.
Oh, it's Drew's epic yarn.
They're actually 50% recycled material.
Nice.
Just like me.
Yes.
And Kirby.
Yes. We've got Brett.
I have a game. It says it's as real as it gets. I have Microsoft Flight Simulator for for DOS, and I just saw this earlier today, and let's bust out the old floppy drive and see what we can. Oh, high density even. So we're working with both 144.
I don't think either.
Definitely still data on those though.
Oh yeah, there totally has not been like a sun, like a solar storm that's wafted everything. Like I live in a room that also has laser discs that have data rot. So if those discs can't handle it, these magnetic drives are. I don't have high hopes for my iOmega zip disk.
Nope. And of course, still with us in the rotating fourth chair, we've got Curly.
You're stuck with me for another 2 episodes.
Your seat rotates?
My seat, yeah, I'm in the hot seat. I've got one more episode after this, and then someone's going to kick me right the fuck out.
No, it's like it's got like the backrest and the like it rotates and
physically rotate. I would, but I would actually knock my entire audio equipment out of my chair. Yeah, I'm tethered.
You're not equipped.
It's all routed behind me.
Now.
It's over here. So it'd be dangerous. I was hoping to find a box of Fishing Planet or whatever that game.
Yeah, like the Dark Souls of fishing games.
Apparently, that's what the entire pre-show was just talking about. Fishing Planet and how savage Brett is going to go on that game as soon as he gets off this podcast.
Right, I'm the crappie master.
Going ham.
I want to play that because that sounds dumb, but I still need to I'm also looking at Outer Wilds staring me in the face, hey, you should finish me because I'm a good video game. I'm not.
I wonder if I could hook my rudder pedal up as a trolling motor, so I can work the trolling motor up front, so I can point the boat while I'm doing so I can have my hands free for casting. My dad would be so proud of me.
That'd be awesome. All right, we're here now. We're not talking about fishing right now. We're
not talking about my old man. We're talking about other old men.
We're talking about music. We're talking about an album, and the provider of the album, of the album is Brett. Brett, what have you got for us this week?
So we're listening to Nerf Herder's Rockingham, but as I when I set this up last week and said my album, I had listened to two Nerf Herder songs ever, and one of them was the 30-second song from Short Music for Short People about thinking of you while I jerk off into my sock. So so understand that I know more about this album now. So
that's what got you here, though, is that you said yes and more of that, please.
I mean, when you're on Short Music for Short People, you're in an elite crew of 103 bands or whatever.
Let's talk about
yes and to jerking off into a sock.
Yes. Let's talk about expectations. Drew, what were your expectations coming into this album?
Well, Nerf Herder's a band that I'm a nerd. And I also listened to punk rock on occasion, so they were a band that I was semi-familiar with, but had probably also heard maybe 2 or 3 songs total. So I never really dove into Nerf Herder, really. So I was excited to hear their latest release. As per all of my thoughts on them were from the late 90s to early aughts.
Is that distance longer than the distance it's been since 2016?
Look, man, you're asking me to do math, and it is 9:50 on a Thursday. I'm not. No.
No. Carly, what expectations did you have coming into this album?
As with everything on the show, I have no fucking idea what to expect. So yeah, I queued it up in Amazon Music and I played it while I was doing other things, and then I played it again. I didn't have any idea what to expect, and then I was like, "These are catchy as fuck," and then I immediately hit Wikipedia and was like, "Oh, it's Perry Grip. Okay, great. That's why it's in my ear and it's stuck, and I want to sing. Do you like pancakes?"
Yes.
No, when all the Diamond Club kids were going on about Perry Grip, I was like, "Oh, the dude from Nerf Herder." Like, weird.
No, for me, I went backwards with that.
Nerf Herder.
I was like, this guy sounds like that guy from all those funny commercials, and turns out,
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised on that. And then I was like, why is he talking about things I know? A lot of things I know about the 90s.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what to, if I were to look at. I pulled up Fubar, which is where I have my Fubar 2000, which is where I can look up my stash of digital music on one of the hard drives. I have several Nerf Herder songs in there that I've accumulated that I cannot tell you much about. I think a couple of them are duplicates, but
all legally acquired.
I'm sure. I think I probably got them from a blog or something, because I used to do that. But I wasn't sure what to expect. But I figured they were going to be nerdy in some respect.
Well, we have the band name. It's just going to tell you right there what you're going to expect, right?
Rare.
That's all I had to go with.
But I had no idea. Let's talk about this album musically. Brett, how would you describe this album musically?
Well, I mean, for themes and elements, these songs really aren't like blazing new trails musically. They're also a reflection of nerd culture in 2016, which feels like eons ago. But they're playing genre standard progressions, like aside from a couple songs where they're really digging into like they're doing a pastiche of a couple of bands stylings, and for most of this album, to me, those are the tracks that really carry the album, but those are in a very specific way and specifically for me. It is a band full of Gen Xers making the same music that they made in the 90s. And it has the humor level and seriousness taken about at the level that I expect from middle-aged musicians playing a youthful music genre. And boy, do they. Jesus, I was that kid who was 16 and listening to NoFX, and let me tell you, there are people still doing that, and we're going to talk about it when we get into some tracks.
Mm-hmm. Drew, how would you describe this album musically?
To me, this record felt like musical popcorn in a lot of ways. It was funny, which I wasn't 100% expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting while listening. Like, I had known that they delved into subjects like nerd culture subjects and stuff like that, but I didn't expect to find myself like chuckling. It was lighthearted all the way through, so that made it easy to listen to for me. The music's simple. Like, it's not, if you've heard any
Canon in D.
If you've heard pop punk from like 95 to like 2010 at any point, like, you've heard stuff in this milieu before. But the thing about it is that this is an album from 2016. They started as a band in 94. So at this point, they had been doing it
since I was in the third grade.
Decades. They've been playing music for decades. And how
Kurt Cobain
tight
was
everything
alive
was and
when
how-
they started playing music.
And most of the audience goes, "Who?"
Yes.
Ouch. I feel old.
That's the running theme of this episode.
Yeah.
Running.
Soon we will be making the albums that people will listen to and be like, man, listen to these millennials.
The thing is, a lot of it, like, I feel like is tongue in cheek. Like, they are not unaware of the joke that they are pulling of like, oh, we're a bunch of old dudes making pop punk music about things like how we don't understand the youths and that time we opened for Weezer in '97 and how cool Rush is. Like, it's not. I mean, at one point they talk openly about like, aren't we a little bit old to be making this song about this young girl? Like, isn't this a little creepy? Fuck it. And just do it anyways, because, like, that's the joke. Like, the tongue never left the cheek, I feel like, and that's what made it fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Curly, how would you describe this album musically?
Yeah, I'll mirror all of that. As everyone else said, the way I listen to it, as I said before, I go through it once without looking anything up. I just listen to the whole thing, and then I will go and like look at lyrics and stuff. Didn't really have to do much of that with this one, because again, it's just, you know, the music is simple. But I think the beauty and the real gem of this, because that being said, music being simple, lyrics not terribly crazy, references off the chart, but only because it made me feel smart, you know, because I get the references, like, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like I was like, wow, I really get all these like calls and whatever. But the gem is honest, the honesty of it, the catchiness of even being so simplistic. Like, I don't know how much of that is just Perry Grip or other members in the band and whatever, but the music's fucking fun to bop along to, and I have a good time with it. And when they do actually do a little bit of a deep dive on something, it's funny and it's unapologetic, and it's just like, yo, what's up? We're doing this stuff and hope you enjoy it. And they're just making art and entertainment, and it's fun. I liked it a lot. So.
Mm-hmm. If I were to put it simply, I think I would use the term that kept popping into my head, and others might not agree, but it's just what I kept thinking. But the only people that would understand are the people that already know both of these artists. But I kept thinking punk rock pollen storm, basically. And that's just the kind of like the tone and the personality that kept coming into my head. It's humor filled. It's very well made pop punk. It is broadly nerdy. About.
I mean, some of it was recorded at Skywalker Ranch,
yes.
but I don't know what. I couldn't find out what.
It's got.
That's weird.
Yeah,
it's got something for every broad.
So were a bunch of
mainstream-
Rancid albums. So like, also, yeah.
Who owns that place now? Is it?
It's. I don't know if George still owns it, but or even if the studio is the overall ranch property still, but it's there.
Yeah. But yeah,
Hey guys, cutting a new track.
I brought snacks.
But it is has a broad nerd references and jokes and generally they really work. And it's fun. It's nice. It's neat. It doesn't reinvent the wheel in any way. But it still makes a pretty okay set of tires overall. But it is very much straightforward, and it's broadly nerdiness, and it's being an tongue in cheek and lighthearted humor and just straightforward pop punk, and except for the parts where they go for pastiche, like Brett said. But let's talk about some of the key tracks. Brett, what key tracks would be the ones you would zero in on?
So I'll start with Portland. I'll remind you, I am a Midwesterner. I do not have personal Portland experience, but I do have punk rock experience. And boy, opening a song with a palm mute guitar with the simple harmonies going on in the background on the second guitar, and miking up your hi-hat and your snare that way, and having the picked like Stingray bass sound, like this is a Mummer Fum and No Effects song, down to like they definitely went for that variety. The only thing it didn't have was that one drum beat, that dug the one. But yeah, they definitely were showing that, hey, there's a reason why they were on a Fat Wreck album compilation, because they could do that at the con. I want to tip my hat. I'll just really tip my hat to the using the lyrics and walk to fit where it totally did not fit. Like stretching those syllables out. That's the amount of care I want to have in this kind of album. We opened for Weezer. Not unlike Taco Bell, Weezer is a band that is extremely good at using 5 ingredients to make an entire menu. From start to finish, this was like doing some uncanny things. Like I'll just go through a couple. Like the jangled verses and the fuzzed out chorus are like, okay, anybody. But the way that they'd like, before the chorus would hit the first chord, they'd roll the volume knob on the guitar to do the feedback. Like Say It Ain't So. Like the way that they'd have that little like sliding octave lick in the chorus that like slid up. The Dad Licks guitar solo that was done. The hammer in that F chord when the F chord is. Well, I don't think that one was actually a borrowed chord, but they were doing a lot of Weezer things, and I was into that because the Weezer formula is a formula I'm aware of.
Yeah.
The Girl Who Listened to Rush, I found some personal joy, not just because they rhymed "get her" with "red barchette her." My wife often wears a Starman T-shirt. In fact, she made a pillow out of a Starman T-shirt from the concert we saw in Toronto at the Air Canada Centre in 2015. So I am married to that lady. But the thing that really like brings it together, other than like I love a Xanadu or Cygnus X1 like callback, because that's that's the weirder end of Rush. But the like in the last chorus when they did the rest and did the empty Pringles can Tom fill where the microphone was like in the other room and it was just like, it gets me every time. It's like it hits me in the heart. Like I'm the droid you're looking for. It's a goddamn Bad Religion song. Ghostbusters 3 Canon in D. Strikes Again, Don't Tell Squiggles. But yeah, those are the things that touched me.
Mm-hmm. Drew, what are the key tracks that touched you?
Well, Portland. Let's talk about a song that, again, firmly tongue-in-cheek. The I'm old and I don't understand the kids punk rock song, but done in a way that, like, again, this is where it sort of seems like they're in on the joke. They understand that, like, saying these things is kind of like, we're being old men and we're being
gentrification, kind of move the crust punk out.
Right. It is that. But not that. Like, I enjoyed that. It's also just a good song. Also, this is the time where I have to make a confession. I listened to Allie Gertz the first time, and I have heard about Allie Gertz. I have seen pictures of Allie Gertz. I am aware of what she does, but I never listened to much of her music. And the song started making references to things I seem to remember slightly from years gone by. I had never connected the dots that Cosby Sweater is the same person.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
Like, I just realized, like, oh, I don't think I ever realized these were the same people. And I think I remember hearing Everything's Coming Up Millhouse like years ago. And so now I'm like, oh, maybe I do have to look her up at some point, because like those were actually some good songs on that one album, that one time years ago that I had heard. We opened for Weezer. Somehow doing the good era of Weezer as good as Weezer did it in the good era of Weezer is weird. But the good era of Weezer was catchy and fun.
That was also in 1994.
Yeah. Everything before Maladroit.
No, the Blue Album. What's Weezer done since the Blue Album? Nothing.
Pinkerton was
Pinkerton's great.
We talked about it.
Get the fuck out
it's
of
what
here.
the song is about.
Pinkerton's one of the best emo records of all time. I will go to my grave on that one.
Cool, but I'm into Weezer albums like the Blue Album.
Ghostbusters
I don't care that much. Don't send your emails.
3 was the most like late 90s pop punk song on this entire thing. Like, it reminded me of like everything from like that era of like, you had like Nerf Herder and the Refreshments and all of that on like every like alt radio station. I'm okay with that sort of music. That was my first love, so it was nice to hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
Same chord progression as the Hook by Blues Traveler.
Exactly.
Suck it in, a ramble in, a rin tin pin.
Curly, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback. I think we're all saying the same stuff about this. Like, what I will throw onto it is like with what I kept going back to is they just the fact that they tell the jokes and they say the right things, like with Portland and stuff, but then they throw out stuff like and those are all the things I know about Portland. It's like they're just like, it's just honest and genuine with the way that they talk about it. The at the con, it was funny. Just, I mean, it's not groundbreaking. It's what do you do when you're at cons, guys? We all play Settlers of Catan and we argue over who would win in a fight, Joss Whedon or Will Wheaton, like whatever. And it's lots of long lines and shit. I think I really kind of clicked into it with the girl who listened to Rush. It made me laugh a lot. Just even like, it just opens and they're purposely just trying to sound just off of a Rush song, just purposely doing it. And it made me laugh hilariously. And also just growing up in that era, I mean, there was always in every group of friends, there was the one cool band chick or who was into Rush or whatever. And then apparently Brett married her. So congratulations to you. But yeah, everyone was always chasing that girl. And it's just like, it's talking to just a
But what did it cost me?
Existed.
Now I don't have any more Rush.
But I thoroughly enjoyed going through that one. That was fantastic. Allie Gertz was fun because she's fantastic, and it's just a stupid little like, why not make a song about it? It's like, God, it'd be really creepy if we did it. Oh well, we're already in the song, which I love. And then the tongue in cheek, but also again making fun of themselves in the situation in the room of like, aren't you a bit old for her? So it's like, no, shut up, get out of here. We opened for Weezer. Slayed me just because that's all my shit. Pinkerton was a big deal for me. I was maybe a sophomore at that time when that came out. I had just gotten into Blue, which was like a hand-me-down from like the seniors that we knew that had been into Weezer.
It was an older brother album, yeah. It was.
They were all very much Brett, though. They were all like, well, no, Weezer's falling off now. And we were just eating the scraps of whatever we could get. And we were like, oh, my God, Pinkerton's amazing. And it's our anthem. And just saying the stuff that we would say, the stuff that it gave me feels, just hearing them say something, like when Butterfly gave us chills. Because we said, I mean, Butterfly is Butterfly, Pinkerton is Pinkerton. It brings me back to a nostalgia time.
Come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar baby.
That's very much pricing it up when it comes to Weezer. What kicked me over was the Michael and Carly reference, which is just even a deep dig, I guess, for Weezer, maybe. I don't know. If you weren't around at that time, they were just real big fans of Weezer that toured around and followed them on a bus everywhere and kept the website running and everything. And then they died halfway through a tour, like their bus crashed and shit. And Rivers wrote a song for them, and it's great, but it's on a B-side somewhere. I don't know if it was ever on an actual album. But just him referencing that kind of stuff is just like, okay, well, man, like this guy understands my world. So I enjoyed all that stuff. The rest of it, I mean, I think it kind of peaked for me there. The rest of it was fun. It just felt like little one-off things that was, enjoyable. But I was like, yeah, no, you got me with the Weezer thing. Now I'm gonna go sit and listen to Weezer for the rest of the evening. But whatever.
Yeah. At the Con is a fun anthem for fucking around at the con. It's cute. It has a nice amount of references and it feels neat. The girl who listened to Rush, it is. I contend that there's a lot of girls out there that listen to Rush, and they should say, they should be like, I object to the statement, why don't girls listen to Rush? We opened for Weezer. It's a nice, like,
anecdotally, anecdotally, I will tell you the women's restroom at Rush concerts, like, it's the emptiest place on earth from what I've been told at sold out shows. So anecdotally, I will tell you that they were not anywhere where there were a lot of middle-aged men when I was watching Rush. So.
That's true.
From the women's restroom.
We Opened for Weezer is a fun We Used to Be Cool song. And it works well. Even though if they admit that they necessarily weren't cool, it was a fun song. It's a fun throwback, and it definitely is a nice, like, little pastiche of a Weezer track. Like, it definitely goes for that Weezer sound, and it does it really well. Doctor Who had a fun hook, like just the way, like just the way they sang the hook was just I don't know, just really fun. The Doctor Who. Yeah, not quite replicating it, but it was.
No, it's not. That's like we're gonna get a DMCA takedown. Like, watch that.
And yeah, it is, that one is fun. The stock photo girl was sufficiently silly and told a silly story. And having a phone conversation with a guitar, is fun. Like, replicating with somebody over the phone with a guitar is fun. And yeah, overall, just some neat tracks. Let's bring it back around the horn. Talk about some conclusive thoughts. Drew, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
If you like pop punk music at all, I think it's a good listen. It is, Brett said it, it's not breaking new ground. It's not crazy innovative. This isn't doing something crazy new with the genre. They know what they're doing. They crafted good songs. Like, it's a solid album. I don't think every album in your, like, collection needs to be things that are going to blow up the world or change the world of music or anything like that. Sometimes you just need some lighthearted fun, a bit of popcorn, like something just to put a smile on your face. Mr. Grip is good at that.
Mr. Grip is my dad.
The man, lo and behold, the man behind Baby Monkey can write a fun tune. Curly, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
It's fun. It's absolutely fun. I like what you said, Drew. As much as I have and have brought to the show, like, the album where you could sit and, discuss it for hours and read the liner notes and all of the lyrics and discuss about where the references are from. Sometimes it's just nice to have something you can fucking blast from your radio and
Oh,
just
I can
sing
talk
along
to you
to.
about all the Rush things. Like we could sit here and talk for like 45 minutes about Rush. Like
So the one thing I did bring up, I was like, it's simple, but it's just so sweet. But like he drops the line or the verse in there. God, I had it open a second ago. But it was like damn it. Help, and I lost it. Oh yeah. So you cannot choose not to decide, so you've got no choice at all. Just like that clever turn of phrase for that song. It's just great. It's just perfect. Good times.
Mm-hmm.
Needs the solo from
Hey.
Free Will.
I will say, you and I have both brought in albums that also had screenplays. So
Yes.
I mean, but also I brought every I think I've brought every album from every song that they did a callback for onto this program. We listened to 2112,
yes.
Hemispheres, and Fly By Night. So like, yeah.
This is fantastic.
If you've done your homework, yeah. Nerds.
Yeah, I think my conclusion still stands that they're a fun band with fun references and fun tracks. They're a consummate, they're a perfect con band. A band you can enjoy while you're actively doing nerdy things. Like I said, punk rock, Paul and Storm.
Nobody in the room is going to be like, I hate this song, skip it. It's just
exactly.
It's great to put on.
Yeah, overall. Brett, what will be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
I mean, this is a fun time. I kind of feel like I've milked in the last week most of the novelty out of it as I've picked it apart. But like that happens with this kind of album, and then I end up going back to the same point of like why am I no longer in the sweatpant boners? Why am I not a punk rock kid? Oh, I'm not who I was 18 years ago. So like there's a little bit of that. Like, yeah, it was fun like having a spoonful, but when I like realized that the things that I was having the most fun with were it playing off of other things that I enjoyed better than this album. But it made it like, okay, I need to judge this on what it is. Did it entertain me? Yes. Would I tell my grandmother to listen to this? Probably not. Is it like universally, is it problematic? Not really, but it is it does feel a little dated, but like, I had a good time with it, especially seeing that I had no clue what we were getting into. We could have had a whole lot worse, but like, I would think like, I bet Hulk Rules was made more earnestly. And I enjoyed it for a different reason. This was done well, and I like it for what it is. And I would like trying to take this album seriously. It just that does not work. So
no,
I'm going to review it as such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are our thoughts on Nerf Herder's Rockingham. Those are thoughts. Now we get to the main event of the evening, the moment we've all been waiting for. Our haiku reviews, where we sum it all up in poetic form, hit you with the 575. Bada bing, bada boom.
Thought you shut down for a moment.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Haiku numero uno. Drew, what is your haiku?
Nerdy love letters with a lot of pop punk flair. It's worth a listen.
Mm-hmm. Curly, what is your haiku?
Fun, nerdy pop punk. But for reals now, who would win? Wheaton or Whedon?
Mm-hmm.
The one that's not weird.
The one that's not a sex pest.
Yes.
Is that confirmed? I stopped listening.
That's why I told myself
bananas
there
in my
was
ears.
not a Wikipedia like paragraph on the Nerf Herder page, so I was like, nobody's that mad, so I'm gonna just leave it.
Mm-hmm. My haiku. fun, nerdy rock tunes, not reinventing their wheels. It is pretty neat. And last but not least, Brett, what is your haiku?
It's got solid hooks. It delivers some chuckles. It's fun, if not deep.
And those are our thoughts as papers fall off somewhere. Those are our thoughts on Nerf Herder's Rockingham, which nobody notices. It's Rockingham. Rockingham.
Rockingham.
It's Rockingham.
It's the Nippon Ham Fighters.
Exactly.
It's the Rockingham Fighters.
Exactly. But
Tottenham Hotspurs.
speaking of Rockingham, you can of course find us on our Spotify playlists. Play
Rocking.ham.
Record Breakers, the home game. Do your due diligence and your due diligence. Both playlists. We have a playlist on Spotify with the episodes slotted in, and one without. So you kind of like binge most of the episodes. Only the last 300. That's a weird Squarespace thing with the, that's a weird Squarespace thing with RSS. But it's wild that we have to deal with that because we have more than 300 episodes.
You're the first podcast to go over 300 episodes.
Yes.
That syndication is not really simple.
Exactly. But on those Spotify playlists will be next week's record, and it's going to be provided by Curly. Curly, what have you got for us next week?
I'm going to make y'all go back to Bowie, and we're going to listen to the Hours album.
We're going to listen to Bowie's Hours. So look forward to that.
Bowie to Bowie.
Exactly.
We could do the Flight of the Conchords Bowie as well.
David Bowie.
But look forward to that. But that'll be next week, and this is this week. And you can, of course, find us. Let me cue up the tunes.
Yeah, play that beautiful bean footage.
Exactly. You can, of course, find us all over the internet. Drew is at XDrewSuperX. Brett is at HeyBDBaybird. Curly is at Curly or Drunk Kids Gaming. I'm at PD Rave. The show's at 4 Record Breakers. That's the number 4 Record Breakers. RecordBreakersPodcast.com. RecordBreakersPodcast@gmail.com. Rebelli.net for this and other shows. Rebelli TV on YouTube and on Twitch. On Twitch, we like to do our streams. We'll come watch us live. We do this podcast. We do Through the Tomes, our D&D show. We do.
You can see the girl who listens to Rush.
Yes.
And Petey.
Yes, and I also play other games like with me and Daisy playing Witcher 3. She's guiding me through that. I'm also going through my Mass Effect playthrough. And you can come check that out. I'm just about to
get ready the stream.
Just about getting ready to start Mass Effect 3. So keep an eye out for that. And the fun goings on that are going on the live stream as
That's
well.
where that series gets good. It's
Yeah.
It's universally loved.
Yes. I'm looking forward to playing Mass Effect 3. Also, there's some, keep an eye on the stream. There's some fundraising stuff as well. And a way to influence what I choose at the end of Mass Effect 3. But you can catch that at Rebelli TV on live there. Yeah, that's it. Do all the things, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Annyeong. Fighting.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.